Hello everyone. If this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Caleb and welcome to my channel. And if you're coming back, welcome back. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I finally tackled a huge obstacle that's been holding me back from my channel, and that is my 1 year on testosterone update. I'm currently filming this on June 17th, 2020, and I just uploaded my 1 year on testosterone update video. Now that I have finally completed that project, I'm able to move forward onto new projects. I wanted to start off with some exciting news. I'm getting top surgery on June 30th. It's been so hard for me to hold on to this secret because it is such a huge step forward in my transition. Due to some of the negative reactions I've had in the past to coming out and to other parts of my transition, I decided to really keep my top surgery a secret up until I actually do have surgery, because I want to keep this time before surgery and even the time after surgery as low stress as possible. So if this is how you're finding out about my top surgery, surprise! Currently, I am less than 2 weeks away, and I have a lot of different emotions going on right now. I'm super excited to finally be getting top surgery, yet I'm also very nervous since I've never had surgery before, never been put under anesthesia, so I am nervous. There's so many different things for me to talk about already with top surgery, not to mention once it's actually happened, I know I'll have even more to talk about. So I want the focus of this video to be kind of a guideline of the steps and processes that I had to take to get to top surgery, so that a young transmasculine person that may be watching this can kind of have a better idea of what they're going into when they want to get top surgery and when it's actually starting to happen. So here we go. First things first, I highly recommend you talk to some form of mental health professional, whether it's a certified gender therapist, just a general therapist, or even a licensed counselor. Talk to someone that understands transgender issues, someone that knows what they're talking about, that has experience working with other trans patients, so that they can help you in this process. I first started seeing one therapist back in January of 2017 when I wanted to start testosterone. I started testosterone, things were going great, and if you followed my journey, things did take a turn for me personally, and that's all documented elsewhere in other videos. So if you want to learn more about my roadblocks and my transition, you can watch other videos, but for now I want to focus here forward. After having issues with insurance, I ended up stopped seeing that therapist, and a little over a year ago now, I started seeing the counselor that I'm currently seeing. When I first started seeing this counselor, I was in a really rough spot, and I really wanted to get top surgery, but I just wasn't ready at that time. She set up 2 specific goals for me that I had to meet before she would write my letter for top surgery. 1, I had to be consistent on my medicine, because when I first started seeing her, it was a really dark time where I was not taking my testosterone. And 2, I needed to be in a stable living condition where once I did get surgery, it would be safe for me to recover. I believe I first started seeing her in March of 2019, and it wasn't until November of 2019 that things really started heading that direction. At my 2 year on T checkup, I was finally able to get switched over to gel, and yes, I did have issues getting started with that, but once I finally had my gel, I currently in June have not missed a single day since. 2, in December, I moved out into my own apartment, which is where I'm currently living now. After all that time, I was ready to receive my letter for top surgery. Let me say this, going into the appointment to receive my letter for top surgery was so incredible. She had taken all the information she had collected over the last year and essentially wrote what felt like a movie script of my transition, laid out so that the surgeon could see, yes, he's overcome these things, he is ready for top surgery. I'm not gonna lie, I did cry while I was reading over it at home. She did such a wonderful job with it. I finally had my letter for top surgery. What's next? I went to my insurance plan and looked up surgeons that would be covered under my health insurance plan. Thankfully, I had a friend who got his top surgery back in September, and he's kind of walked me through all of this. I knew I wanted to go to the same surgeon as him, and the same surgeon was covered under my insurance as well. Once I knew that the surgeon I wanted to see was covered under my insurance, I called their office and set up an appointment for a consult. When I was on the phone with their office, I found out that they not only recommend having a letter from your mental health provider, they also recommend having a letter from your hormone provider as well. They set up my consult for February 26th, which was a few weeks later at this point. It timed out perfectly because the week before I had a checkup with my hormone providers and I was able to get my letter for top surgery from them as well. February 26th rolled around, I had my consult and it went really well. If you want more details on what all happened in my consult, leave a comment down below, that way I know you're interested, and I'll make another video on that in the future. As I was checking out of their office, they informed me of what exactly would happen. First, they needed to file a claim through my insurance for pre-approval for surgery in order to then schedule me for surgery. And they told me it would take a couple weeks to hear back from them. I ended up receiving an email from my insurance company like a week later saying that my claim had been approved. Unfortunately, due to the timing of everything, their offices had to put a hold on surgery because of the current things going on. After a few weeks of going back and forth on email, once things weren't so up in the air, on May 8th, I was able to schedule my surgery date and my pre-op appointment as well. Generally, they scheduled the pre-op 1 week before your surgery date. However, my surgeon was going to be out the week before my surgery, so they scheduled my pre-op appointment 2 weeks before surgery. When they set up my pre-op appointment, they actually set up 2 different pre-op appointments. They set up one appointment with the surgeon and a separate appointment with the hospital. Thankfully, my surgeon's office works really well with the hospital, and they set up the appointments one after the other in the same afternoon, so I literally just went from the surgeon to the hospital appointment. Once all that was settled, it was time for me to figure out how in the world I was gonna pay for my surgery. I ended up taking out a loan, and I'm very glad I did. Thankfully, I talked to my friend before taking out the loan, who, may I remind you, went to the same surgeon that I was going to see and has the same insurance company as I do. And he suggested that I take out more than I had originally anticipated. For those who aren't familiar with financing for surgery, you have to pay the surgeon for performing the surgery, as well as paying the hospital for facilities, anesthesia, all that good stuff. As soon as they scheduled my surgery date, the surgeon gave me the estimate, and the estimate actually ended up being more than what I ended up paying, so that was nice. The hospital didn't give me any kind of estimate until the week after I had gotten the loan, saying, "Pay this now please before your pre-op." Depending on who you go to see, it may be different. This is just my own personal experiences, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm really glad I listened to my counselor and got the loan when I did. I initially applied for the loan about 2 weeks before my consult. I was approved that day. In order to actually receive the money for the loan, they had to set up an account with that bank, which means I had to wait about a week. My surgeon's office wanted the surgery fee paid upfront at my pre-op appointment. The hospital wanted the facility and anesthesia fees the week before my pre-op appointment. What ended up happening is the Friday before my pre-op appointment, I had finally received everything I needed to go get the money for the loan. Word of advice for financing your surgery: talk to the community around you, see who has gone to your surgeon, especially if they have similar insurance plan to you, and figure out how much you would need and get your loan early if you can. That way you aren't blindsided and don't have to scramble to pay your surgery fees. Now that the financing was settled, I was able to have my pre-op appointments. Both places informed me ahead of time that I would need a list of medications, my insurance card, photo ID, and a mask because current situation going on. I also made sure to bring a notebook with a list of questions to ask because I'm forgetful, and during my consult, when the surgeon asked if I had any questions for him, I just sat there and kind of was like, no, I think between what you've said and what my friend had informed me, I think I kind of have all my questions answered for now. Which was not untrue whatsoever. I just have since found out I have ADHD and am forgetful in the moment when I need to recall information. So if you're like me, don't be afraid to carry around a notebook with these questions. That's exactly what these appointments are there for, is to answer any questions that you may have. To put it into perspective, you're paying a lot of money to go through this really big change in your life. So if you have any questions whatsoever, it is their obligation to help you out and to make this as comfortable and as easy of a process for you as they can make it. And just in case you need a little extra motivation for asking questions, I found out some really important information that I wasn't quite sure about that I really needed to know. For example, since I am taking gel that I have to roll it up on my shoulders every morning, he suggested that I stop about a week before surgery. Didn't know that and wouldn't have known that if I hadn't asked. so don't be afraid to ask questions. That's about all I have to film for right now. Next time you see me, I'll probably be wearing something different with a new update. Hello everyone, I'm currently 1 week post-op. Last night I finished editing up until this point so far. I realized that there is a few things that I didn't film, and I wanted to go back and touch on those few things that I missed out before. The only thing I ended up doing between my pre-op appointment and my prep day the day before surgery was get tested for the virus that's going around right now, which came back negative. I was all good to go for surgery. So unless your surgeon is different and needs something between the meantime, or if you are getting your surgery really soon, you might have to do that. Otherwise, you probably won't have anything to do between then and the day before surgery. Friendly reminder, depending on where you work and what your policy is, make sure that you ask off plenty of time after work, as well as I would recommend the day before surgery, so that you can make sure that you're guaranteed that time off of work. For my work, I have to ask off at least 21 days in advance. I've generally heard 6 to 8 weeks to recover, but depending on your job, you can probably go back sooner. Talk with your surgeon on that to know exactly what you need. I made multiple requests for time off. I made the first 2 weeks after surgery as one request, and then I went week by week. That way, if I am able to go back sooner, I can just cancel off the weeks at a time that I'm able to go back. So if I'm at the end of recovery week 3 and I feel comfortable and my surgeon says it's okay and I'm able to go back to work, then I can just go into our system and cancel the rest of the weeks that I had asked off. But if I'm not ready, I already have those weeks off and I can just continue resting. Prep day was here. I used this day to get the groceries that I needed, attempted to get cleaning done. I ended up procrastinating on a lot of things and mainly just hit the high spots that needed to be cleaned. The most important thing was washing my bed sheets, and moved everything around in my apartment that I would need. So anything like that was on the 3rd shelf that I wouldn't be able to reach because of my limited mobility, I moved it down to where I would be able to reach it. And try to make sure that I had all of my favorite things that I would definitely need, like my phone charger, headphones, fidget toys, nearby so I could easily reach them. The hospital gave me a brief overview of what I would need to do. The main things were 1, not eating or drinking anything after midnight, and 2, taking a shower first the night before, using that special cleaner they gave me, and since I was getting top surgery, focused on the chest area with that special cleaner, then dried myself off, put on clean clothes, and got into my nice clean bed sheets. It was more of a nap than a sleep because I stayed up way later than I should have, and I had to be up really early the next morning. That morning, can't eat or drink anything. I mainly got in the shower, used that special cleaner, and then got dressed and grabbed my bag and was ready to leave for surgery. In review, my 10 steps to top surgery are: find a therapist, get letters for surgery, find a surgeon, set up a consult, set up your surgery and pre-op appointments, ask off of work, finance surgery, go to your pre-op appointments, use the day before surgery to finalize anything that needs to be done before surgery, shower, and go to your surgery. I hope this video was helpful. If you or a loved one are about to get top surgery and you're watching this to try to prepare, congratulations. I hope it goes very well and I hope you have a speedy recovery. And please leave a comment down below with your questions if there's anything that I missed. As I'm continuing the recovery process, I'm trying to take note of what's working and what's not so that I can help more people out in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day. Stay awesome.